Nidalee Shyvana banned out by STO, Yorick, Evelynn, and Caitlyn banned on the other side for Caronte.
Well, Caitlyn, we're seeing a couple more bans from her as of late. I'm actually a little bit surprised that we're not seeing more Lucian bans. He seems to be... It's a strange situation where it seems like people prioritize picking Lucian more, but banning Caitlyn more. It's most likely just due to compositional things, and we just got a Karma lock-in. I think I'll talk about that in a second, though. As on the whole, though, these bans are fairly standard stuff, but there are targeted bans, obviously knocking out Yorick jungle and keeping Zed out of the hands of Neptuno.
Well, we're going to have Karma in there. Now, we've seen Karma, obviously, Diamond Runner in the jungle. We've seen in the top lane, actually, as well, run a couple of times. Still mixed results, I think, that we've seen from Karma. I think is a fair way to say that one. Lee Sin also picked up here by Eco, the jungler for Caronte.
Yeah, Karma in particular is a very... She has some incredibly strong strengths, but some very seriously weak weaknesses. Her poke is very, 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 very good if you're kiting backwards, and very, 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 very terrible if you're trying to get aggressive and sort of be poking someone, because it's quite short-ranged for what you would expect from a standard poking ability, quote-unquote. But it does do an absolute ton of damage. If you're kiting backwards as well, though, Karma has the shield. She's very, very mobile. She puts a lot of effective HP across everyone on your team if you're able to cast that, which isn't that difficult to do. Team-wide, Shirelia's effect, incredibly powerful, but lacking in damage unless she's able to get multiple rotations off, which isn't usually the case. In lane, also a similarly... it's kind of funny in a way because her theme, as it were, used to be, yin-yang kind of mantra kind of thing. She has such defined aspects to her. The other thing about her in lane, though, that is something which genuinely does happen, and Kassadin as well, yeah. If people actually severely underestimate how strong Karma is at baiting, if you use the Mantra'd W effect, you get 20% of your missing health back instantly, and 20% again if the root procs there at the very end. It is unbelievably good for baiting, because when you're down on only 10% health in the first place, that's nearly 20% health you're getting back instantly, which wildly throws people off.
Well, we did see Leona Sivir locked in here, and there's a lot of talk about Sivir actually right now, and I actually read an article that Double If wrote, tiers of AD carries right now. He put her right up there at the top, so I was kind of surprised not to see more of her throughout this weekend so far, but we are going to see her here for Caronte. That was actually locked in. Right now, SCO still kind of cycling through and figuring out exactly where they're going to go in terms of picks. Lucian, I'd say, is almost a definite here for Yuki, who played a great Caitlyn earlier on. Obviously banned out this time against him, so that won't be coming in. But Gragas as well, so that's interesting.
Presumably going to be a top lane Gragas and a support Elise. That's a very interesting choice, especially going up against Leona Sivir. And I would say that might imply 2v1 swap-ups, but I don't think that would favor them either. Elise is going to have problems with being bursted down by Sivir and Leona if she tries to go aggressive, but equally in a 2v1, she doesn't really contribute that much. She can root whoever it is that is forced to deal with that situation, but she can't really push lanes very quickly. Lucian is a moderately fast pusher, but Sivir is an unbelievably fast pusher, so... if it comes to a race, they're probably going to lose, and if it comes to a 2-on-2, they're probably not going to do that well either then. Well, it's an interesting one, but more importantly, in many ways, than the laning here, Caronte are picking a very unusual composition. They're not picking huge team fight presence. What they're picking here is extreme mobility. They've got Karma and they have Sivir. That means they can add some ridiculous figure for their actual movement speed. I wouldn't want to add up on stream. That tends to go very poorly. But a very large, sudden burst of movement speed, which gives them incredible picking potential, and you can chain that with Vi CC and Leona CC, and the amount of burst damage they have off their very first rotation of skills. That is a really interesting and dangerous composition.
So we're going to leave the screen up here because I'm interested to see if there's any last-second switches here. You got Kassadin, you got Gragas. They didn't really know what Caronte were going to fully throw at them, so they're basically saying, okay, we've got Gragas and we've got Kassadin. We can swap them around as to where we want. We can bring Elise to the support role. We can pretty much have a good amount of flexibility in that one. It looks like Lee Sin will be moving to the mid lane here with Neptuno, with Vi Jungle, and then the Karma in that top lane with Dragon. But as we count down here, let's have a look if there are any swaps coming in. Nope. So it is going to be the support Gragas for Kuja.
Okay, so as compared to Elise support, 2v1 swap up, that could work better. However, in a direct 2-on-2, that seems like it would work actually even worse. Gragas is not a particularly strong early character in terms of his all-in potential, and his poke kind of wants a bit of AP to be relevant. He runs himself out of mana fairly easily on a support budget. Obviously, with the increased gold changes in 3.14, he might be able to ameliorate that somewhat, but it doesn't strike me as a particularly strong conventional support pick. However, in terms of lane pushing, he's definitely going to be able to help out a lot more than Elise, and indeed in poking under the tower, and in fact diving as well. So, interesting choice. It's something I don't think I've ever seen outside of solo queue before.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you on that one. I can't really say that I've seen a support Gragas at any top level of play, but we're going to see how it works out here in just a couple of minutes. We're just getting through these. Back, guys, we are going to get into game for STO versus Caronte, and we got to support Gragas.
We have it. It's new. It's exciting. It's a very unusual pick, and I'm really interested to see how this works out. I feel, as I mentioned in Champion Select, a lot of this is going to depend on whether they can get 1v2s and whether that actually then translates into them being able to push harder and faster than their counterparts in Caronte. Being said, is it ever really possible to just outpush Scuba Gragas, respect? Outpush Sivir?
One of the ugliest skins ever. It's hard to make head and tail of.
Retired.
It's definitely a strange one, that's for sure. But right now, we look at Caronte and we see they've pushed 3 men down. Make that 4 here, because Lee Sin's just off to the top side as well, into the Tribush. And, well, if our last game is anything to go by, and the game before that, we've seen a lot of early action going on.
Yeah, it seems that in spite of predictions that were made possibly by myself and indeed others, that level 1 invades would kind of drop off in the new patch. It seems like that's actually not been the case overall. Kuja clearly is expecting an invade, but if he face checks this, it could be really bad.
Oh, he's gonna face check it. Kuja here, flashing instantly from that one, but he's gonna get locked up. He's going down. One more auto attack, and it comes from Jimbones on Sivir, and that is the dream start that Caronte were looking for.
Yeah, they will be spotted out now going for the red buff. That could actually backfire against them severely. That ward being there means that there's now the potential for them to disrupt.
Yeah, and we see Yuki coming in there. Spontex joining the party as well. Eco is still doing the red buff and is going to be able to take that red buff away, but will he be able to escape the enemy jungle? Gragas is coming back to play here. It's going to be about when his Vault Breaker comes up. Well, it's not even going to be about that, because Tremnek's positioning has actually allowed him a free pass out via the Tribush.
Okay, well, in that case, that is definitely favoring Caronte. Conotos is actually hanging around. He may go for the level 2 gank just because he's level 2 and he's in the area, but not much time wasted in giving it a little bit of a look. It's actually a top lane Karma here and a mid lane Lee Sin. Against Kassadin, there is a lot of potential to snowball, but it's mid lane Lee Sin. That's gonna fall off. No matter what happens, if this game drags on, Lee Sin will fall off and fall off hard.
Well, we'll see about that. I suppose it also depends how far his snowball rolls as well.
Yeah.
Might not get to a point where he's falling off if things early go his way. This bottom lane, we said it before, so far, support Gragas not really been so exciting to watch. Well, I say not exciting, it was exciting. Face checking at level 1, always going to be exciting, I suppose. But Yuki here, taking a lot of damage from Jinbone. Zenith Blade lands, they flash in for him. Yuki dashes away though, he's behind the tower, he's flashed it as well. Will he be able to get in there for Jinbone? See a note, he walks out from the backside, and Kuja et al. Keep that safe. Someone else is on low health, that's just Yuki that's flashing there. He is so incredibly low from that one, but credit where it's due. He did amazingly well to stay alive there.
Yeah, really, really nice juking. And now, with the potential for Gragas to set up Olaf for a gank, this might actually work against Caronte because they took damage in that exchange. Does look like he's actually going to back away and instead go towards mid.
Oh, Spontex is in danger now. He does have a flash, and he flashes a Vault Breaker perfectly. He will be able to recall without too many problems. Well, Alex is at 1-0-0. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Gob actually going in on towards Dragon. Repel comes in, and he picks up the kill. The minion's going to do a good amount of damage to him here, but he is safe from that one. And meanwhile, Olaf coming down here. He's got to get the axe onto Jinbones, and he will get the axe onto Jinbones. Picks it up. He needs to slam down the E, which he does, even though the Zenith Blade lands onto him. And now Tremnek being hammered away at. Will they risk a dive? They will risk a dive. At least half of one, as Airwax realizes he's not going to get enough of damage to finish it off, and that will leave us at 2-1 in kills for STO.
Yeah, they might have been able to exchange a kill there on Olaf, but since it was only a maybe, that's not worth risking, especially when he's already got a blue buff on him. So now it's actually Eco looking to potentially find Airwax. I think he was expecting, and Airwax indeed thought about going to farm those golems there.
Well, he's not going to get the chance here because Eco's got rid of him, but Airwax actually coming across. And this is dangerous. Kassadin could come down here and stop this party. We are going to see the Vault Breaker springing him over the wall. The hack's not quite got the range to land. But Eco's not leaving just yet. He's actually going to Wraiths. Will he? Giving up that double buff if he ended up dying to Airwax could be pretty dangerous for him in the end. He decides, I'm not going to risk that one. But Dragon in this top lane, we talked about Karma and how she's seen a couple of good games in LCS, a couple of bad ones, or uneventful games, I think is the right way to describe it. So far, not doing so amazingly well. Died early on here to Gob after actually using Ignite and getting him pretty low. We had a bit of a look at that before that kill went down, but staying in there in terms of farm. We'll see how that lane all develops out, though. Oh, Zenith Blade landing here on towards Yuki. There is a Boomerang Blade coming across. Kuja basically puts his belly in the way of everything there and tries to stop them pushing through, and that works out for him in the end.
Utilizing his hitbox. But the top lane matchup, as you mentioned, is a very equal one, actually. At the moment, it looks like Gob is trying to take advantage of his level 6. But it's a weird one because both of these characters do not actually have ultimates.
That's true, actually. Didn't really think of that. Well, they do technically, I suppose. They just get them at level 1. Either way, we are going to see Yuki here. Zenith Blade coming in. Tremnek, be careful here not to go too deep onto things. Jinbone's coming across. Yuki doesn't have much health, doesn't have much mana. Jinbone's has certainly got the mana advantage on him right now. And with a Vamp Scepter in there, will be able to out-sustain him. So by the time that this next Zenith Blade maybe comes in, they've got to be careful, and there it is! Flash engage from Tremnek. Kuja, he's gone belly deep for this one, and he is burning from the Ignite, but here comes the teleport. Spontek gets himself that one. Now they're going to go for Tremnek. Kuja running his best from it, and will survive, and that will be a killer piece for the mid laner and the AD carry.
Great awareness there by Spontex, getting down there at exactly the right moment, and indeed by Kuja, his awareness getting the setup for that gank.
Eco, that is not the position you want to be. Cocoon lands onto him. Good flash over, but the repel will follow in here, and Airwax coming in. If he lands one axe, he'll be able to get in range. Doesn't even need it. Gob is now on a killing spree at 3-0. Killing spree? I killed Karma while that was going down on the bottom. That's why I was like, how is he on a killing spree? He's only got 2 kills. But actually he did kill Karma a second time.
And that's going to cost Caronte another buff here. Red buff going down. And I want to just note as well, Spontex with that gank, he's now ahead of his opponent in terms of gold, thanks to the assist. That is a very worrying sign for Lee Sin. You mentioned he does, if he snowballs really hard, potentially they could come out on top overall, but I don't feel like Lee Sin is going to be able to manage that now.
It's Elise that worries me, though, for Caronte's side of things. We know what happens when Elise gets going. We've already seen 2 kills, or we've seen 1 kill, I suppose, since we missed the other one because of the action down at the bottom. And look at this, Gob actually going in here once again. Dragon decimated to half HP there pretty much instantly. And Gob tankier, he's got more damage. The repel they use to get out of everything, and he will now back away. Meanwhile, we do see Vi and Olaf going head-to-head. Neptuno comes in, but the Q won't land onto its target, and Gob goes back off into this top lane. Dragon's having to burn through all the pots that he had there as well.
It's an expensive lane at the moment for Dragon. He is actually chugging through a lot of pots, as you mentioned, quite... I mean, not even just when he's getting all in, he is having to chug pots just to stay in the lane. And this is one of the things about Karma lanes that can go quite wrong. If she does fall behind, her wave clear is decent, so she can hold her tower and she can farm the ranged minions relatively easily. But it's not great, and you don't want to be pushing out that hard if you are falling behind.
Tremnek there, hit by the barrel and by Yuki, but here comes his AD carry. There's a blade just spinning straight through Yuki. Takes a decent chunk away from him, but Kuja off at the side, just throwing those barrels out. Jimbones, of course, able to block a barrel if he's fast enough. That is a big thing that we didn't really talk about once Gragas was picked into that Sivir.
Yeah, it's actually quite a dangerous one, though. If you do block Gragas's Q, that leaves him with the option of knocking you out of position with his ultimate. I expect Jims will want to hold on to his shield as much as possible, but he's actually just used it.
Oh, there is that barrel coming in. It knocks Jimbones back to relative safety, but Tremnek not so lucky. The Culling comes out. That will finish off. They're going to dive it. Flash from Jimbones. Axe is going to be vital here if they can land this one. Vi coming across. There is the Axe. Airwax gets the finisher, and that is 2 kills for nothing. Great play. Again, the gank through the lane coming in from STO.
And Spontex ganked top. Karma dies again.
I just don't see any Karma kills, deaths anymore.
They don't even register on my radar.
Neptuno coming in. That's a good slow, though. And he is going to flash in towards Yuki. He did land the Q. There is a barrier being used, but Assault and Battery coming in. And I'm not feeling it here for Eco and Neptuno. They could both end up going down by the looks of things. And there is the kill onto Eco. They did manage to finish off Vi, but it's a double kill in the end for Neptuno. And he's like, thank you very much. Double buffs.
Yeah, that's a big windfall there for Neptuno. Otherwise, it was looking pretty bad for him, but now setting up that gank has given him an advantage. But they're not taking massive amounts of objectives here. No towers yet fallen on either side, but that inevitably favors STO. Unless Caronte's mobility ends up being massive.
Oh, Dragon's dead again, possibly.
He's not. Karma W, told you. Useful skills.
He's dead. No.
Aha!
Manages to walk away in the end of that one. I mean,
forced out of lane.
Gob's just absolutely destroying him right now, to put that quite fairly, I think, as well. But Neptuno is working his way up. He's going to be spotted by the ward team. We can see that Gob just getting into position. He's fancying himself. He golems as well. Got a Haunting Guy, Sorcerer Shoes in there as well now. And I thought might have a bit of gold to go back with, but he's since spent everything. Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, actually, Tremnek went low again. And, you know, after the start of this one, which was a great start for Caronte, it's not exactly followed that pattern. It's kind of fell off for them.
No, and that is a pattern we have seen a couple of times in this tournament. It tends to be when a matchup that we were expecting to go one way starts off well for the other team, it tends to vanish. However, now potentially a gank.
Well, we are going to see Elise coming in here from the side. Neptuno goes low, but Dragon was taken away by STO. That leaves them 2,200 gold in the lead, with Gob running a bit of a mock here. I mean, 4-0-0. To be fair to Dragon, he's actually level on CS as well, which is, considering you died 3 times, is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Karma is a good farmer. There is no two ways about it, but he's being forced out of lane pretty much every time a stun lands on him, and that's really, really, really ugly for him. Elise at the moment, very, very strong, and probably at this stage of the game doing as proportional to her opponents, as much damage as she's likely to, because she's very, very fed. but she's not very tanky. She's got a bit of health from the Dorans and a bit of health from the Haunting Guys, but there is a teleporting bot.
Yeah, TP coming in from this one, and it is Spontex that dives straight in on towards Jimbone's. Good spell shield, actually, will stop the majority of that damage and probably saved his life there even.
Yeah, that would have been, well, he might have still been able to get away because there wouldn't have been much follow-up. Spontex could have then dived under the tower, but that would be very risky against Leona. But in top lane, Gob is being dived.
Well, Spontex actually pushing in from this one, so let's have a look at Gob in his top lane. Actually, he's going to pull out the repel here. Is he going to fall? Yes, he is. It's going to be the Assault and Battery from Eco that gets that one. Meanwhile, Neptuno just toying with Airwax in the mid lane. They also didn't get in to finish off Jimbones. I thought Spontex was going to try and dive in for that one. But either way, action going up across the map as the Gragas barrel comes in there. A great ultimate out of Tremnek, but is it enough to stop Yuki? No, it's not. He uses the Culling to finish things off, and that will be another kill for Yuki on Lucian. He's now 3-1-1.
However, Caronte have got the shutdown gold in that top lane and the tower on top of it. So that's actually putting them into a pretty good situation now. Spontex picking up this blue buff, he will be able to get back to his mid lane. And he's actually spent a lot of time out of his lane at the moment. Now Lee Sin has built up a very large gold advantage and is actually going to go for Airwax.
Yeah, going for Airwax, but Spontex is there. He's going to come in from the side. Airwax is running away, but the Ignite is enough to kill him. And that gives a red buff over to Neptuno, and he's going to fancy his chances here against Spontex. He's landed the Q. Good flash from Spontex. Neptuno, oh, he's got out of it. Oh, Spontex has got in. He's missed it.
He missed. Oh, dear.
Well, that was awkward. That should have been a kill for Spontex right there.
Smart casting has cost too many lives. That was so unfortunate there for Spontex. Very nice play by Neptuno, knowing he could kill Olaf, knowing he could burst him out, and staying to trade with Spontex, not panicking and running. He moved into the middle of his opponent's minions to use the Ravenous Hydra lifesteal, and is now actually snowballing quite hard.
See? Told you. 4-0-1. Quicksilver Sash now added in there as well. Oh, there's my mouse buttons again, acting all funky on me. But Yuki, we saw him just go quite aggressive again in his bot lane. He's got that Trinity Force already in there, and we see that Jimbones just can't compete with that damage right now, as we do see the Zenith Blade go down. Good spell shield away from the Gragas barrel, but the ultimate came in as well, and that pulls them out. Jimbones goes down, and Airwax is now waiting off to the side. Can they lure them in here to finish off this kill? Vault Breaker from Eco will send him back off behind the tower, but we've seen it before. You can't escape these axes so easily. Kuja does go down, but that will be 2 more kills. 1 for Yuki, 1 for Airwax. 15-18 kills overall now.
Spontex is in trouble though in mid lane. Lee Sin is going for it.
Yeah, he's got a red buff. He's got the blue buff on as well. His cooldown's going to be extremely low. Can he land another Q? He goes up to the ward. Will actually flash over there. Spontex is dead as the kick comes in. And Airwax says, I should probably... Can I fight him? No, probably can't. He's 4 levels behind after all.
And I know your radar is broken, but Karma did also die again.
Yeah, Karma radar is broken, that's for sure. It was Gob that picked up that kill as well.
Yeah, so no change from the normal, but it's a continuingly bad thing. But Karma is still keeping the farm going. Has now gotten Athene's Unholy Grail, 2 Doran's Rings. That's not terrible for 16 minutes.
No, but Elisa's 5-1-0 with a Haunting Guys, Liandry's Torment, a Blasting Wand and Sorcerer's Shoes in there as well. That's probably going to be a couple more kills. I promise that I will try to get up there next time. It just so happens that every time that Karma dies, there's something else going on, usually in that bottom lane.
Something always is a little more interesting than seeing the 0-4 character die again. I mean, I don't mean to speak poorly of Dragon. I actually think the lane was going very, very evenly at first. It just happens that that's a very snowbally matchup. You trade damage, essentially, and there's no way to kind of avoid Elise once she's already gotten ahead and is doing more damage than you can deal with.
Speaking of Karma,
oh dear.
This one we are going to see if he goes down. Spontex actually going to get rooted here, and now Eco, who comes in for that one, might end up falling as well, but no, they've gone for Dragon. He's finished off. Airwax just bangs down there with the Reckless Swing. Oh, and they're knocking him around with everything that they've got. Assault and Battery goes on to Gragas. hard to knock the big man up in the air, and they lose 2 men in the mid lane, and the bottom lane might not be safe here as well. They've picked up 1 kill, but Yuki on a rampage. Can he take out Tremnek as well? It might not be him, but someone will. They all just turn around, finish him off. Yuki goes super low, but he gets the kill anyway. Unstoppable now at 7-1-2. Turret's going down afterwards as well.
And Gob is actually fighting off with Neptuno as well.
Gob actually will go super low from that one, but now with Airwax coming in, there was a ward put down. That's the beauty of the Sightstone for Lee Sin, which he doesn't actually have, so great job, Joe.
No worries.
I'm pretty sure I've seen him drop about 40 wards doing that already. I figured he'd have a Sightstone at this point. I should probably look at the screen at some point.
No, it's fine. If you don't, building a Sightstone on lane Lee Sin is a little bit iffy, because obviously you need to be snowballing, you need to be doing well, and that means you need to be doing more damage. I actually think that the Quicksilver Sash he's built is very interesting. It means he's a lot less vulnerable to ganks from Spontex. It means he's much less easy to pin down, but it does mean that a lot of his gold has gone into not a lot of defenses there. Quicksilver Sash gives you barely any more magic resist than the actual Negatron cloak that it builds from. In fact, it's exactly the same. Did they change that at some point? I swear at one point it was like 54. But regardless, doesn't matter. Gob fighting Dragon.
Oh, he's actually going to face shake straight into this one. Dragon takes a blast, but Neptuno got a lot of damage behind him at this point. 6-0-1 now with this Lee Sin. You have to feel that he is the hope for Caronte if they're to win this game.
Eating my words quite hard at the moment. It's an unfortunate fact that does happen. In fairness, at first, it was going the way I predicted. But in spite of that, Lee Sin now getting so many kills is starting to look really alarming here for SGO, because yes, Lee Sin will fall off, but if he keeps getting kills like this, he is really going to get out of control. He can already 100-0 everyone. I hesitate to say everyone, because Airwax maybe not, but he can certainly get him if he gets a second Q on.
Oh, Yuki trying to bait out Jimbones in that bottom lane. In the top side of the bottom lane, I should add. Yuki not really too scared at this point. He's got a solid lead in terms of CS, but it is, of course, his kill lead that's a real big one there. 8,000 to 5,500 gold. He's got another 1,000 to spend here. Olaf sat on 2,850 gold. Should probably go and spend that, Airwax. Thank you very much. No? Okay. You've left one more camp. Don't forget, that's a new camp here in 3-1-4. And he'll get rid of that before he does go home and spend.
He may have something
specifically
in mind. In my head, the only thing that actually costs 3,000 exactly is Warmogs, but I wouldn't imagine he would be going for that right now. Spontex heading to this top lane. Gob actually sticking around as well. This looks like a bait. Caronte actually checking out Baron. It's plausible. SGO could have been doing Baron at this point. They do have a decent Baron clear. Olaf being very, very sustained means that he doesn't need to be so concerned about just straight up dying to Baron at this stage of the game, but I guess it was worth the paranoid check.
Airwax actually bought a Randuin's Omen straight up on his last trip home, and that's not a bad pickup considering it's the Lee Sin that's really the one doing all the damage right now.
Yeah, that is actually true. It costs 3,000 gold now that I think of it. Lucian now in the bot lane, though, is pushing this out, and that means that the emphasis on K3 to make an engage happen, which they're doing.
Dragon coming around the back here. They do manage to get the route on towards Kuja. Neptune coming in, and that is going to be at least one kill. Zenith Blade lands, but they all have ultimate going in. He just speeds off and actually speeds back in just to throw another axe. But the Q landing here from Neptuno has kicked him, but he's not going to burn to death from the Ignite. And Neptuno may just fall here from this one. This would be a big shutdown bonus for Spontex if he can get through. Gets stunned though by Leona, and now being chased down. Eco went for him. The Zenith Blade not landing, and look at Neptuno healing up there thanks to all that lifesteal. But Spontex is not done. Oh, maybe now as he gets hit with the Q. And wow, Eco just coming out of the brush to the side. They go for Spontex. They've kind of gone half off. Assault and Battery takes him all the way through the wall. That will be one kill. Gob here repels at the perfect time to not get rooted by Dragon, but the rest of the team are able to close in. Neptuno now godlike at 7-0-3.
However, all this time, this massive long fight,
Oh, yeah.
STO
Lucian.
pushing bottom.
Yeah, Lucian in their base has managed to take down the inhibitor after that. And the funny thing is he can kill Jim Bones outright as well.
Yeah, nothing Sivir could do to stop that, but Airwax finds 2.
Yeah, finds 2 in there. I'm not sure it's really the 2 they want to find. Barrel comes out from Gragas. Kick from Lee Sin as well. Neptuno finally gets shut down. As Dragon comes around, they can probably turn around and kill Dragon here. There's the belly slam coming in. Dragon is going to fall from this one, or not. Axe misses. Belly's not enough. But Kuja finishes off with an auto attack. Meanwhile, Spontex chasing in from the backside as well. And Eco goes down.
For reference, Lucian is still in the enemy base, although now I think at last he is going to have to recall, get out of there, get some items back. By now he must have a tremendous amount of gold. Only 1,600 actually, I'm a little bit surprised. Thought he took down 2 towers there, but still, I mean, that's not a small amount by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and this game is quite far gone, I think, now for STO. I mean, Lee Sin has only died once. Got a Black Cleaver now added into that Ravenous Hydra and the Quicksilver Sash from earlier. We can see that the makings of the Rabadon's Death Cap are in for Kassadin. Actually interesting that Kuja's Gragas now is working up to a point where he's pretty strong. Morellonomicon plus the needlessly large rod in there for him now.
Yeah, it does seem like the gold flow changes are helping out. Obviously, though, the team is doing fairly well as well.
Yes.
Maybe if it was a bad situation, they'd actually be doing less well. But you never know. Gragas' main problem as a support was transitioning. He still has quite a lot of utility for his team. He does obviously still have his attack speed low, and now he also has a bit of bonus damage.
Oh, Airwax and Gob playing quite forward here, and it looks like they're going to try and make a positional play, but there's a surprise. STO coming out of the brush. Cocoon doesn't land, but they go for Tremnek anyway. He's going to throw his ulti in there as the repel came down from Elise, and now they focus down Neptuno. He's at half HP, will fall in the end. Eco coming around the side. Jimbones did get a kill in that one, but Dragon here caught in the cocoon. Surely will fall as well. We do see Gragas going down, but Jimbones at the back, still alive, flashes away, but Spontex is going to try and chase, goes onto Eco, knocked up by the Vault Breaker, got off the Null Sphere at the end there, and that got him the kill, but they're not done here. Axe lands. Oh, Eco actually having to flash there because his Vault Breaker didn't take him over the wall. Gob going to throw out the Spiderling. That's not going to have enough range, and Gob underneath the towers will finally retreat from that one. Another crazy, crazy fight.
Messy, messy stuff. The kickback onto Yuki, it's kind of cost Neptuno his life, but at the same time meant that a huge damage threat was gone from STO's arsenal. Spontex did a good job of turning that around and cleaning stuff up with his Kassadin jumps, but overall, not a massive advantage for STO gained from that. They are the ones that came out on top. They will get that tower and that blue buff, though.
It's only an 8,000 gold lead. I'm saying only. I mean, that's not exactly a small...
26 minutes in.
Not really a small amount of gold, but it feels like it should be more somehow, considering everything that's happened here. We have the Riley's Crystal Scepter now added into that Leandri's Torment, and there's a needlessly large rod as well for Gob, who he had a very solid lane phase in terms of dominating Dragon in kills. He's since died a few times since then, but the fact is Olaf picking up the slack here now as well, up to 729, got that Tiamat in there. Rabadon's Death Cap is done for Kassadin. We've got a 725 Lucian as well, Trinity Force, and the Last Whisper, and what's looking like we will see the Blade of Ruin King there finish. Yep, indeed. And now Kuja has a DFG. Support Gragas.
Yes, indeed. He is building to burst there. Quite a lot of cooldown reduction as well in that build, which is the other focus he is going for in Deathfire Grasp and Morellonomicon. Means that he will have his Explosive Cask up very, very frequently, and he doesn't need to bother about that blue buff as much as he would do if he were a mid laner, because you can't really take away blue buff from Spontex.
No. Just maybe if he dies, kill the other guy and get it back. That's the plan, I think. Oh, Eco actually coming in here on towards Gob. He's going to take a lot of damage. Actually, Zenith Blade comes in, repels instantly from that one, comes back on top of them. There are the barrels coming down, but Kuja this time does die, and now they focus down Spontex. And Cullen comes in, but Spontex won't be able to escape. That's a 2-for-0 for Caronte.
Olaf is down in the bottom lane, and the problem with that is that STO were not able to avoid an engage because Caronte is so damn fast. But he is continuing to push, and will he be able to take the in-hit?
Yes, he will. There's no one there to stop him whatsoever. And Caronte here being held in middle. Gob does get away from the route there. Tremnek went in on towards Yuki, and he's not letting them back off from this one. We did finally see Lee Sin coming in. He's chasing down Gragas here. Gragas? No, Graggy Ice. It's kind of the same thing. Brolaf. That's where I got confused. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, this is just a crazy match to spectate. I'm a rubbish cameraman. This testing me my skills to the max. Dragon flashes in, actually misses there, but Eco might not miss, but he'll stop chasing.
He gave up. In the end, this is a very, very messy game because Caronte are running a very, very fast movement speed team. Oh boy, Kuja.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Speaking of movement speed, you've got non-Gragas. Neptuno comes in there. Meanwhile, Airwalks is coming in. Karma died again. Didn't get to see it, as has been the trend so far in this game with Karma's 8 deaths now that Dragon has racked up.
Has managed to pick himself up 3 kills though. Haunting Geistines, Unholy Grail and Rabadons. He's still a significant damage threat and he still has significant utility for his team. At the moment though, it's getting towards the point where Lee Sin, he's still a huge damage threat, but he's getting towards the point where he can't 100-0 people, which is an important factor because he doesn't have a lot after his first burst combo.
Now, what's the next move here coming up? This game has been rather crazy, and whilst there is still a slim chance that one of these two teams could end up in promotion, it needs 2 teams above them to basically drop out, which you have to imagine any team that's got themselves to promotion, that's trained that hard, is not for any reason going to really be dropping out before the fact. So I think also kind of a fun game here, a little bit of let your foot off the pedal and just play things out.
Yeah, the fact that they're running Lee Sin mid in a tournament setting would either mean that they're desperate or that they don't care that much how this game goes. He's a very fun champion to play. I can understand why you would do that, and it's not a terrible idea. It's just that it's a little bit unreliable and not something you would normally see in tournament play, especially with as much riding on the line as was in this tournament.
Oh, Airwax here going in for Neptuno, and he doesn't have any wards. Actually, he does. He's got his trinket in there, so we'll see. There is the trinket ward coming out, but he's being chased down. It's hard to escape from. There's the culling coming out. He kicks Spontex, which almost just killed him straight out there. The inhibitor is open, and Airwax says, you know what, I can have Jim Bones here as well. Spontex does move in for a bit of extra damage. Barrier used by Jim Bones. He's gonna flash from it, and Airwax has managed to force him off. Meanwhile, the rest of the team here coming around from the backside. Chased, though, by STO, and there's the Gragas ultimate coming in. Finally, we do see Tremnek put down his ulti. DFG was used there, actually, coming out of Kuja, and Airwax falling very, very low. As we said, all a little bit messy this game.
Yeah, they are absolutely going at it. I think Caronte came out better in that fight. Overall, they did seem to come out at least with the potential to push out. Caronte are going to be going towards them now. I feel like Gob can get away from this though.
Oh, that was a nice spell shield though coming out from Jim Bones, stopping him getting hit by the cocoon, but Spiderling with Riley's Crystal Scepter means that you're not going to be chasing for much longer either way, and that allows STO to actually back off and stay safe for things. We've had 52 kills here in half an hour. There's a 5,000 gold difference, as I'm missing kills again. Gob here taking down Jim Bones. They went a little bit too deep.
Yeah, it's just that thing where you think you're safe, think you can push out, and it was reasonable to assume that Kuja and Gob would have recalled, given that they were pushed away from that blue buff, given they were quite low on health, quite low on mana, but obviously stuck around, and they had enough burst to just take her out of the picture instantly. And I was just thinking that Neptuno was going to go for Lucian, but he isn't.
I thought they were thinking about Baron there, STO. A few wards put down. Vi just came in to make sure that this one was in at the back so that that's not going to be snuck away from them. STO start to move in. They've actually got no vision clearing at all, but apparently they don't care too much. They're just going to go for Baron here, and it's going down pretty damn quick as well. Look how fast that goes. And here we go. Q comes in from Lee Sin. They're stolen it. They managed to steal the Baron. Neptuno and Eco go in there. It was Eco that actually got it in the end. He's going to pay the price for it with his life, but that is not a bad steal whatsoever.
No, they would take that trade any day of the week. However, STO do have the potential to go for that inhibitor. You can see them pinging it out. They are going to split push with Gob, though, because he's too low on health to really go for anything. Lee Sin is being committed to bot lane, so maybe they can at least take this tower.
Well, we'll see about that one. The Baron buff, of course, here on Caronte. Tremnek edging forward with Leona, thinking maybe about going in with that Zenith Blade. Does have that ultimate on cooldown at this point. And STO going to have to back away and settle themselves in for a dragon.
Yeah, that's not the worst trade any man, mortal or machine, has ever made. It's just that under the circumstances, given that they snuck in, they were potentially able to take that. They kind of screwed up on the whole smiting front, which is probably going to be something that gets rubbed into Airwax's face.
Well, certainly if they lose this one.
Yeah, that is quite a game turning point, but Spontex is in top.
Yeah, he's actually chasing down Dragon here, who's almost given up there inside of the brush, does end up getting picked off, but they're going for Spontex. They kick him underneath the tower, he will flash and then Rift walk away, but he's being closed in on right now. His best bet's probably the Fountain at this stage, as he does run himself through. Is he going to get through the timer, though? Actually, he's going to head away and try to survive this one completely. Jimbones heading him off here on that bottom side. No ultimate here for Jimbones. No flash either. Does get one auto attack off, but Spontex is well and truly running from this one. Boomerang Blade comes across. There's a barrel. It was shielded, though. Nicely done from Jimbones.
Yeah, very, very good execution there by Jimbones, but nice awareness by Spontex, making sure he got out of there by taking such a slow, long loop around. Worked out for them pretty well, but I have to say, it feels like Caronte are somewhat in control of this game now. They could now go for a push on that mid lane with the Baron buff that they still have, a decent chunk of it left. That being said, their wave clear is good, but so is STO's.
It's really hard to call what's going to happen in this game because they kind of threw us a few curveballs up until now. Spontex just getting himself the wolf camp out. STO group back up here around middle. Obviously, middle, funnily enough, is along with that top lane, got the most left on it. That open inhibitor's been there for a good while down on the bottom lane. Something tells me that Spontex wants to end this game on a bang with his teleport as well.
It's a very, very powerful tool for ending games. We have mentioned that in the past. Spontex at the moment, though, he's not really in a position to take the base solo unless they can get some minions in there. I mean, obviously, inhibitor being up means he can't even target the Nexus, but they have that potential, but Tremnek wants the fight.
Yeah, Airwax actually going to use his ultimate from this one. There goes the Culling from the backside. Eco now getting involved as well. On the front side, goes in actually towards Yuki. There is the Q landing. Spontex is going to go down. Tremnek still alive here, but not for long as Gob comes in. They chase out Kuja as well, and now Airwax taking a lot of damage. There are still 4 men here at the front. Caronte could actually look to finish off the game here if they manage to take down at least one more guy. That Cocoon's going to stop it. It was a 3-for-1 in the end. They're going to get an inner tower, but will they be able to push down for an inhib?
They have a lot of diving potential with Karma here. She's got that Mantra E available, and that means that none of STO dare go near her. Inhib most likely as a result of that. And because when K3's composition is ahead,
they're going for it.
They are going for it here. They might be able to get it, but I doubt it.
They're going for it. They're going to try and win the game right here. They've got 10 seconds till Gragas actually comes back into it. They're focusing down. Already got one Nexus turret away, but Neptuno is going to die, and they're going to keep pushing through. The Culling comes out there. Dragon speeds himself up with Jimbones to get away. And it was a risky move. They paid the price with one man, Neptuno going down. The problem that they now have is that STO all spawning in are going to rush straight up the middle.
Yeah, that or the bottom lane, that open inhibitor looking very, very tempting, and their very, very tanky members can actually just tank through the one remaining Nexus tower very easily. That being said, 33 seconds until Lee Sin respawns. That most likely means this inhib is going to be exposed in the mid lane, assuming they aren't stopped from pushing, but they're not going to be able to finish off this. They're probably not going to be able to get the inhib. Sivir actually recalling in an interesting spot, but isn't going to be found.
Getting there around the corner just to make sure. We've got 2 minutes until the Baron comes and surfaces once again. And this top lane actually pushing down here as well in favor of Caronte. If you look at the gold as well, 69.6 to 66.9. Like, that is actually really close considering how wild this game has been overall. There's the Culling, and that minion wave is no longer. Yeah, and there's a lot of 1,500 to spend. Not that they've got many item slots left.
No, at this point, gold is becoming much less relevant for the characters that have a lot of gold in their inventory. For instance, stuff like the Ruby Sightstone, which Lee Sin has actually ended up building, does kind of suffer a bit late game because it isn't a very slot efficient thing. The amount of health you're getting for it is not that great. Although when you hit super late game and you've got infinite gold, assuming you still want to retain the ability to jump towards as Lee Sin, it's actually the most efficient thing you can do.
And especially now, since you can't carry many wards with you.
Yeah.
Waxia gonna get hit by the Q, but he's got plenty of health at this point as well. That Randuin's Omen got a Banshee's Veil and another Giant's Belt in there as well, and they kind of line up Wild West style here down on this bottom inner turret. Who's going to make the first move? You have to wonder, is it going to come from a Q from Lee Sin? More likely from Assault and Battery out of Vi or a good Zenith Blade or a barrel from Gragas. They focus Jimbone. His Guardian Angel going to get popped here. Let's see if he's able to walk away after that as Airwax is going to go down. Jimbones is back now in the fight and they're doing well here. Caronte doing very well in this fight. Jimbone's under the tower. It's still alive and he's managed to pick up a Quadra. Can he finish this one off? No. He actually goes down from that one as Spontex is going to mop things up. And Eco is there as well. He's like, I'm just going to stay here and hide for now because we've got super minions going through into the main base. And as soon as Kassadin leaves, I'm going to take the inner turret in the bottom lane. That was a 4-for-4 fight. Really close.
Yeah, I feel like Jim's maybe there could have... He was quite aggressive about trying to siege down the tower there, got in quite close, and Gragas seeing that opportunity through the explosive cast, but Eco may be punished for his transgression here on the tower. Oh boy. He nearly got him.
That was an interesting flash coming in. Spontex actually is going to chase him because he is Kassadin after all. And there we go. Ace, finally! That's how long the spawn timers are because that fight felt like a good couple of minutes ago already. But Spontex does finish off. Picks up the ace for STO. We're now at 71 kills in this matchup.
That flash from Eco, actually incredible props to Spontex for not falling for it, because what he did was he tried to make it look like he'd flashed over the wall and instead just kind of double back flash into the brush. One of those things you tend to see on YouTube quite often. He tried it, Spontex didn't fall for it, and I guess that's why he's such a good player. Oh, is it going to be a steal?
Oh god. No, not this time around. It's picked up actually in the end by Airwax. He this time does get the better of them with a smite. Now they're going in for Jimbones. No Guardian Angel available for him this time as the Cocoon lands. He's a dead man. And now a 5 versus 2 remains for STO. This is their chance to recall
to stop Lee Sin. He's going to take their inhibs.
Yeah, he's pushing through from this one. What are they going to do? They sent 2 men back from it. That's Kassadin. Actually, they've got 3 men going back for that one right now, and Neptuno's actually going to die from this, and it's Kuja that gets the kill. And now they're pushing in. This should be the second inhib as well, going straight on towards Eco, who's been slowed down this entire time. Gob diving in there on towards Dragon, who's not really a match for him in terms of health and damage. Eco gets hit with the axe as well. That inhib will get finished off, finally.
If you're going to be really brutally honest here, though, STO could have finished off that. If they had just ignored Lee Sin, he would have had to recall. They could have taken the inhib, moved straight onto the one remaining Nexus turret and gone aggressive, but Spontex is the one now looking for aggression.
Yeah, going on towards Tremnek. Kuja getting in there as well. Damage from Karma certainly hurts the squishier amongst them. Half HP taken away from Kuja, and now STO going to go to this top lane, do it very much tutorial style.
So can they not die then? Is it actually impossible for them at this point?
I'm not sure about that, judging by these last fights. It could turn out to be a messy ending, that's for sure. Red buff is also taken for Yuki, and they're going to go home. They've all got above 1,000 gold. In fact, I think there was 2.3 on Airwax. Who does have a slot still available to be selling out, or to be buying out, I should really say.
Yeah, it's actually worth remembering, by the way. You remember how large that chunk of damage on Gragas was? Actually, they're going to be fighting.
Yeah, blue buff actually was taken by Eco. They was forced to actually smite that one away. We've got a dragon. 42 minutes into it. Why not?
It is gold, and that is good. And therefore, dragon is good. There you go. I have some logic for you. But remember how much damage that did to Gragas? He's actually running triple health items here. He's got Sightstone, he's got Liandry's Torment, and he has, or did have, when he, I swear I looked, he had it before, he had got the Targon's brace there.
Yes, he did sell that.
And that still took over about half his health. It shows how much damage Poke Karma can put out late game.
The man is now sat on 1,400 gold. He wants more damage, and there is a Void Staff.
That's not a bad idea. Magic Penetration obviously is very, very valuable on characters with very high base damages, as happens late game. At the moment, he's also got a Baron buff, which is sticking on him. I'm actually a little curious. Are STO going to go for that top inhib now? It's the very, very logical thing to do. Or are they going to go for like a 4-man top and a 1-man split push Spontex?
Well, logic has been defied in this game many a time, so I'm not sure we can follow logic. Although it does look like STO are going over there. Eco's actually charging up the Vault Breaker here. They might decide to go over. Nope. Banshee's Veil of his will get taken down by Spontex's Null Sphere. But what next? A big barrel, maybe? A cocoon over the wall? Or the minions coming into the turret. It seems to be more likely at this point. There's the Culling coming out actually from Yuki. Barrels slid in there. Turret will be made easy work of as the ultimate's all going to be coming in here. Tremnek actually knocked back by the Barrel Dragon, being taken down by Airwax, but Airwax will get finished off here first. There's Assault and Battery on towards Gob. Karma doing good damage to the back. Jimbones has his Guardian Angel back here as the Guardian Angel from Spontex now gets popped in that one. Jimbones does get back onto the fountain in time, but actually has his Guardian Angel taken down, and they're just killing him on top of the fountain here. There's another one coming in, and that will surely be game here for STO. I'd be very surprised if it wasn't. They're all running onto the fountain. That's a double kill in the end. And there, finally, is the Nexus going down. 45 minutes, a crazy, crazy match.